in front of your screens now is the British Safety Council's Managing Director for Membership and Wellbeing, Jigna Patel, to deliver our closing words. So please give her a warm welcome. Over to you, Jig.
Thank you very much, James. I'd absolutely love to start by thanking all of our amazing speakers today. They have given their time and their expertise so freely and really taken on board what the British Safety Council is trying to do in bringing well-being and being well together to all of our members, supporters, every organisation that could do with our help and support. So thank you very much to all of them. I'd also like to thank our team. You've been absolutely brilliant in putting this together at quite short notice, and a small token of appreciation will have come into your inboxes shortly if it hasn't done so already. As James said, today we will have reached, through recordings that will go out as well after this, over 2,000 attendees and hopefully many more. And hopefully you'll all go away and advocate for the British Safety Council and get people onto the next ones that we do of these as well. It's an absolute joy to see so many people engaging with this topic, taking the time out, staying with us all day, listening to all of the brilliant presentations. And it reminds me of the quote from Gandhi where he said, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." There is so much change in the world at the moment, and we just got to go with it, and we've just got to adapt. And something that one of our speakers said earlier, build a safe psychological space for your friends, colleagues, people that you work with, staff, wider stakeholders, just everybody that we're interacting with is a key message. So I've been listening intently to all of the messages that have come through the various speakers today, and there's a real thread. If I just highlight sort of the top 10 lessons that I've taken away, it's really, really important to understand firstly the holistic nature of wellbeing. It covers way more than health and safety, mental health. It's about financial well-being. It's about being well in yourself, both physically, but also feeling a sense of worth, contribution to society, to your workplace, to other people around you. We are all, of course, embracing new ways of working, our new lives, new difficulties, not least with homeschooling. But of course, with that comes, and Professor Carrie Cooper said this, new opportunities as well, which is really, really exciting. We do need to be adaptable, creative, and embrace those opportunities. Understanding our people, understanding our business, and understanding our data in order to put the strategy together and to put our priorities together is absolutely key. And in a minute, I'll tell you some of the ways that the British Safety Council will be able to support you in doing that. We also have dual objectives, the well-being of our people, including ourselves as individuals, as family people, as supporters, carers, managers, as well as the well-being of our business holistically. And the two things are intrinsically linked. Where they say look after your pennies and the pounds will look after themselves, it's very much look after your people and the business will be in a much, much better place. The approach has got to be strategic. It cannot be a collection of interventions. It cannot start at intervention stage. We've got to understand what it is that we intend to set out to do. The key reason being because we need to evaluate what we have achieved over time. The approach also must involve our people. There's no point in doing top-level brainstorming in ivory towers. We don't know. We've got to go out there. The situation's changing all the time. We've got to engage, as you've just heard Mark say earlier. You've got to make sure that you're getting under the skin of what those surveys, what that data's telling you. Talk to people. What do you mean when you said this? I'll be very open with you. We ran a survey at the British Safety Council recently, and when we actually went out and spoke to our people, the findings were quite different to what the survey was telling us in almost binary fashion, no matter how well those questions were put together. We've got to make sure that we're equipping our managers for today's immediate, longer term, and then even longer term challenges that are yet to come. Professor Carrie Cooper invited us to be mindful that we've got Brexit, we've got a recession coming, we've got people who will be coming off furlough, job losses, bereavement. Those infection rates are not coming down as far as I can see anytime soon. And so there's a lot of challenge ahead of us, as much as the journey that we have just come through in the last harrowing 11 months. The leadership is absolutely key. We are so lucky, those of you that heard Mike speak this morning, we're very lucky at the British Safety Council to have exemplary leadership, not just our chief executive and the management team, but also our board have been incredibly supportive and sponsoring all of the initiatives, including the Being Well Together programme. We heard from Tideway how it's so important to have those executive level sponsors to get the engagement at all levels through staff and to make sure that you get the results that you intended to achieve when you start off in the beginning. Wellbeing is a part of the business. It's not a campaign. Don't let it be Free Fruit Friday. It's got to be an inherent part of our management systems, the plan, do, check, act. It's all very much what we do, but just with a different focus, a different bias now. We need to know where to start. We need to be using our tools and understand our data. We heard that very clearly from Stephen Haynes. And we need to make sure that we're building with the longer term in mind. Things that are appropriate, sustainable, both financially, but also in capturing and keeping people's attention, their engagement. How often do we send out a list of employee benefits and, yep, great, and we do some webinars and increase awareness, and then you'll do a survey and people will say, well, what's an EAP? We've got to make sure that we're keeping those messages alive and fresh. And again, the creativity is really, really important there, particularly when at the moment, certainly, and for the foreseeable future, a lot of things are being done virtually and through screens like this. We need to make sure that we're building a community of humans, not just employees and managers. We're all working together, we're understanding each other, we're looking out for each other, we're building trust, and we're using skills such as language, we heard that today, in lieu of the support that may once have been just a tap on the shoulder or a come on, let's go and have a coffee. So we've got to make sure that we're being adaptable, particularly as managers, and leading the way on that. The final point that I've picked up, and there have been many, many more, is we need to make sure that we're able to evaluate and that we do go back and we evaluate the effectiveness of what we have put into place. So we heard earlier, it's not just about training our managers, it's going back and making sure that A, they're competent and they've taken on board what they've learned, but B, they're effective in delivering that. In some cases, you only really get that one opportunity to go out there and have that intervention with the person that might be struggling, to spot that they might be struggling, even though they're telling you every day when they come in to the virtual office, I'm fine, everything's fine. Look, it's really sunny in my garden. And actually it isn't. And those spy skills almost have got to be there. That intuition has got to be there, and it's got to be switched on and notched up like it never has been before. And of course, none of this can be a one-off process. I'll say to everybody that's attended and anyone that watches this webinar recorded later on, you don't have to do this all yourself. There have been lots and lots of questions, particularly from smaller organisations today, to say, well, where do we start? How do you apply this great stuff to smaller organisations or perhaps lower risk organisations like ourselves? And the key message from the British Safety Council through our Being Well Together programme is you do not have to do it all yourself. We have built a bank of resources, of advice and guidance. We have support managers in place. We have a wealth of expertise that we can tap into, and we're here to support you, both as a membership body and as a charity. We made a conscious decision to make this event free of charge today. It's in lieu of what would have been an annual conference, perhaps at the TUC in London. And we're so glad that this has happened. We talk about opportunities through pandemic. We've been able to engage with 4, 5, 6 times as many people as perhaps we might have done. And that's brilliant for our charitable objectives and for our engagement objectives. So really, really pleased that you've come and you've stayed here all day. Your feedback is incredibly important to us in putting on new events like this and in gathering speakers and in understanding, know your numbers, what your needs might be. So after this, you will receive some surveys and things like that. Implore you, please, to be open and honest and feedback, because it enables us to help more people and to help you in more and better ways. As James has mentioned, a full recording of today's conference and a copy of the slides and a summary of the Q&A will be sent out to all participants. And we are also going to send you information as to how to access our free digital learning courses that we are providing as part of our charitable objective. And the titles will be How to Start a Conversation, Stress Awareness, Remote Working, and Managing Stress Within Your Teams. These are all being sent out for anybody who wants to download them, pass them on. Would be absolutely brilliant if you're able to send them through your communication channels. We've managed to reach 10,000, over 10,000 individuals so far, and we want to double that, triple that by the end of this quarter. So please help us in doing that. You will also be able to download our Employer's Guide to a Successful and Sustainable Wellbeing Programme. So you've come today, you've taken this step with us. We'd like you to now take the rest of the journey with us as well. And we're offering that guide free of charge to everybody who signed up today and supported us in this way. You'll also receive, should you wish to go on to do it, a discount on your first purchase of our Being Well Together subscription programme. It's 10% off for British Safety Council members, 10% off for everybody who has come today, 20% off for British Safety Council members and Mates in Mind supporters. Further details will be sent out for those that would like a conversation about what that involves. But essentially, it is us working with you, providing you with off-the-shelf, ready-made tools, customizable, ready to go, and supporting you at each step of the way through all of the best practice things that you've heard from our various speakers today. So thank you very much for those people that stayed on for my little insignificant address at the end as well. Be well yourselves, and absolutely delighted that you were able to join us today. And thank you very, very much.